good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be, whatever time you're checking this out. We want to first say thank you. Thank you for taking time out to check out our podcast and to welcome those who have checked us out. Welcome you back, right? All that good stuff. So we are Three Best Ways Podcast. I am one of your hosts. I am Shon Tillman. You can follow me on Twitter at Shon, that's SHON_Tillman, and also the same on LinkedIn, Shon Tillman. We are really happy to have a special guest in the building with us. But before we get into that, I got to pass it over to my big brother.
Okay, Demetri Chambers here. I'm a business attorney and problem solver. I like to help small to mid-sized businesses solve problems, preferably before they ever become a big problem. And I enjoy doing that. It gives me joy because often I'm not only helping business owners, but often they have employees, there's agents and vendors. And so I get a chance to do a lot of good things. I'm a business attorney. You can reach me at walkerchambers.com or at 832-925-8337. And now I'll pass the baton to Katrina.
Hello, my name is Katrina Keys, and I have an HR consulting business and run professional networking groups, NIA 5.0. I've been in HR for 20 plus years, building relationships that last a lifetime. And you can find me on LinkedIn at Katrina Keys, Keys, or you can go to my webpage, katrinakeys.com. I am super stoked and super excited to have someone with us today that has made a great impact on me on social media and in my business. Inez, thank you for coming today. Just give us a brief overview about yourself and we'll get started.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. My name is Inez. I'm the owner of Accounts 101. We're a bookkeeping firm in Pearland, Texas. I've been doing this for over 23 years. Started my own company about 10 years ago out of Ohio, and then relocated to Pearland about almost 5 years ago now. And so we've been doing it here and the surrounding areas ever since.
Awesome. Shon, what you got?
First off, what got you to Pearland from Ohio? There's a lot of pride in people who live in Ohio. Ohio is really, important when it comes to this time of year of election, and it's, so it's a lot of homegrown love in Ohio. Matter of fact, what does Dave Chappelle say? OH.
I'm not doing it. I never learned it. As funny as it is, I've lived there my whole life, never learned that goofy little chant. There is a lot of home pride there, yes. But what got me to Texas was the economy. Several of my clients had to go under for various reasons. The companies that I'd worked for, that my husband worked for, were going bankrupt, going out of business. It just really started to tank. And so a friend of mine had been here for 25 years, and she said, "You need to get here," and here I am.
Wow. Okay. Nice. Demetri?
So how would you describe your best work?
I'd say my best work is any work that involves a mess. I usually get clients who are in one of two places. Either they have something coming up that they're trying to get ready for, and they realize their accounting system isn't ready, like maybe an audit, or because of the pandemic, we had a lot of clients come on board because they needed to apply for COVID assistance, and they just didn't have an accounting system at all, or it was really messed up. And so I love those challenges. I love undoing the puzzles of all the craziness they've created for themselves and helping them get it back together.
Awesome. Okay. So we already know, how people feel about accounting and accountants. So what are some common misconceptions you have encountered about you and your business?
I think the most popular one is that we're data entry people, that all we do is just sit around. We've got our little 10 key, we're counting numbers all day and looking at spreadsheets, and that's it. Our firm is completely different. We're way more than just a bookkeeper or a data entry type of place. We're not just looking to put your numbers in the system and make them look pretty. Of course, we can do that for you. You want all types of charts and graphs and stuff. We can make that happen, but that's not what we do. We're bigger than that. Our main goal is to help make your numbers make sense to you. Doesn't do you any good if they make sense to me. We try to break them down to where anybody can understand it. So where you make decisions for your business, you actually understand what you're looking at and how it's going to make an impact.
Awesome.
What is the perfect client for you?
Like I said, those people who are in crisis. I think, at some point, everyone realizes they need to get their accounting system in order. And like I said, it's usually for a variety of reasons, but most people don't push the button and get up and do something until they actually need something. You can't go and apply for a loan without financial statements. If someone knocks on your door and says they're auditing you, you can't just say, here's my box of receipts and and I've been doing this in Excel and I'm not really sure balances. They're not going to go for that. And usually that comes with huge penalties, fines, and a lot of problems. And so most people they tend to wait until the last second and then we get them, and that's great because we work fast, very fast. And we can help them get them straightened out to where they don't have that problem going forward. Even if they decided they just wanted us for project work, get it set up and walk away, they'll never have a problem with their accounting system because we go beyond just putting it together. We teach them how to use it.
Sweet. Okay. Education part is huge.
Absolutely.
How would you describe your next level of growth?
For us, over the next 3 years, 100 clients, expanded base over 50 states.
Well stated. I love it.
Very easy.
As a business attorney, I really enjoy, because I have, I'm always talking to businesses, and businesses that know where they're going next tend to do better than those who are just waking up and just going anywhere they can go. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, you know me, I'm all about impact. So I want to know, how are you able to impact lives via your business?
Well, I think our clients would probably say one of the best things that we've done for them is help them make sense of where they are. COVID kind of really opened a lot of people's eyes. They thought they were okay. They had a little bit of money in savings. They figured they would be okay if they had to go without income for a while. And the pandemic really showed them that they can't. A lot of the companies barely had 3 months in savings in all, and that includes all of their assets that they could possibly sell. That's everything, and so a lot of people unfortunately had to go under. And so one of the things that we've shown people is how you can cut costs without feeling like you've just chopped everything off, right? I mean, think of it like from your personal perspective. Right now, we can't go to movie theaters and all of those crazy things. Well, from a business perspective, they think, oh, I have to cut back my employees. Oh, I have to cut out, that copier or this water cooler, or little trivial things, that they've kind of grown to love, but we show them ways where they can save money, cut costs, still process their business as if nothing ever happened. And more importantly, we're also showing them ways where they can plan for a better future. So if something like COVID happened again, they're not going to be one of those people scrambling to get in line for the assistance or trying to figure out how to pay the rent and pay their staff and stay afloat. We're teaching them how to get prepared.
What's interesting when you talk about that, I think you're leaving out a piece also, it's just that you care. I mean,
Yes,
I remember conversations, people have talked to you, I've sent people to you and they're like, oh my gosh, she cares, and I think you're not giving yourself credit for that, but I have to say you care about people. It's not about just getting another client. It's about really caring about the person, their business, and what's next for them. Because I've had at least 5 people that circle back with you like, oh my gosh, she's so awesome. She cares. You don't rush people off the phone. You don't say, look, I have 2 seconds for you. And I think that's something you're leaving out for your business. And how many people can say their bookkeeper, their accountant cares about them?
That's absolutely true. I do care. If I could do this job, I say it all the time, but if I could do this for free, I would. I truly love to help people, and I do get people that call me. They don't want any business. They just want advice. And that's great. I will talk to those people for 3 hours, just like I would the guy who called me and said he wanted me to jump on their books right now, because ultimately people need help. They need to know what their numbers are doing. They need to know if they can grow. Do I have the money to expand? Can I hire that extra person? Do I really need to let go? All of those things are important factors that you get from your financial statements. But at the heart of any client, you have to know what their goals are. You have to know what their dreams are. Where do they see themselves? I always tell my clients, I get a lot of people that come to me and say, oh, well, I just want to do this for right now. And I always push them to think, where are you going to be in 5 years? Where are you going to be in 10? Because when they come to me, they say, oh, I think I'm only going to have about 100 people. And I say, no, when you get to $1 million, when you get to $5 million, and their mind hadn't even reached that part yet, I push them to get to the next level, to dream beyond where they are. And I stand with them every bit of the way. You need a little bit of advice. I don't charge for those crazy things. I just think it's my job. It's a part of what I do,
Awesome.
That just blew me away, by the way. I want to take a moment to give you a clap for that one.
Thank you.
Thank you. That was fire. I felt that, like right here, I felt that. What I wanted to ask was, you say that people come to you pretty much when they're on fire, right? You want the disaster project, you want to clean things up and get them right back into shape. Well, can you give me an idea on some of the things that small business owners can do more or less to prevent having to have that disaster, but still, just do it the smart way with your leadership? Can you give me an example of that?
Yeah, I think probably one of the best things that any new business owner can do is educate themselves. Even if you're at a place where you can't afford to hire a bookkeeper, and I will say this from our experience, there is no such thing as you can't afford it. Because if you're going to another firm, they're going to charge you an arm and a leg. You're right, you can't afford it. But when you come to us, we tailor our price based off of your need. So, your situation might be where you just need me to help you get your system set up and teach you how to basically use it for now so you can get to a place where you can afford us full time. That's fine. I will do that. And you're not paying nearly what you would pay for some of these large CPAs or even some of these other bookkeeping firms. But I'd say education is first. Find out what it is you're doing and what it is you need in place. You may not know that. If that's okay, find somebody who does. You have a friend who's in business, ask them what they did. I'm sure they made a ton of mistakes, and that's great for you and for them because it gave you an opportunity to learn. They know now what is right and not wrong to do when they're starting out. If you don't know anybody who has a business, reach out to social media, find other CPAs, find bookkeepers. There's plenty of social media sites on Facebook where you can go on for bookkeepers and accounting, and they will give you all the advice you need absolutely free. We do advisory services for just that thing. If you're just now getting into business, maybe you even haven't filed your state tax or your state licensing and all of that stuff, reach out to us because we're the kind of people that will tell you how to get what type of business structure is good for you. Should you be an LLC? Should you be a C Corp? What type of situation are you looking to get into later? Because the LLC might work for now, but later, if you're planning on being this huge company, you're going to need to be a C Corp. You know what I mean? Those are things that you need to talk to somebody about. And we have connections, like we know Demetri, we know Katrina, we know other people who, if I don't have the answer, I'm more than willing to get you in touch with the person who does. But the first key is to educate yourself, get something. I always tell even if you don't know anything about accounting, QuickBooks has so many tutorials, it's ridiculous. Just get something in place so that you can start keep track of your money, so that you know where it's going. Because most people, they tend to look at their bank account and, oh, I got $500. Great. And then they go spend $500. Bad. right. So you need to have something because we're more aware of how much we're spending when it's on paper or when it's on a screen and you can visualize it. Right? Because I don't know about you guys, but I've used those little tools on my bank site where they tell you how much you've spent on groceries and eating out. And I was floored. But it's because you don't think about it because you're just at the store, just steadily swiping that card. Right. But the minute it's on paper, it's real. Right. Oh, God, I spent $3,000 in a year on fast food. Okay, that's why I'm heavy and I have money problems. Right. So they need to do something, put something in place. Even if you don't know what you're doing, just at least start small, start somewhere, educate yourself, reach out, talk to people.
Sweet.
Well, I just want to say thank you. I know we're not finished, but you've already educated me in so many ways, not just for myself, but things that I can help my clients with. Because in some ways, we're in the same boat. People are afraid of attorneys. They run from us. but and you're in the same boat. But
Mm-hmm.
when people really understand the value that you bring, I think they can take their business to the next level. So I have a question. Do you have a recommendation for an app that helps you to track, like you say, your groceries and things like that? And the reason I ask is because for those of us who are in business for ourselves, the business and ourselves are basically one and the same. My wife, we joke about it all the time. When it's time for me to pay myself, my wife tells me, yeah, it's all in the same pot. So what do you recommend for tracking the day-to-day expenses? And if you have something that works for both business and for home, can you share that with us?
Sure. I would say on the business side of things, QuickBooks. There is a feature in QuickBooks that you can scan your receipts right there at the table. As soon as you're done eating, you scan the receipt, it automatically uploads to QuickBooks. It will categorize and pick out the relevant data for you. So a lot of that stuff is handled on the back end, which is a really good tool for a sole proprietor or an LLC where, like you said, their business and their personal are kind of intermingled, which I would strongly caution you to stop doing that.
Don't do
Make
that.
business business. Personal is personal. Keep them separate. But if you're in a situation, you're a sole proprietor, it doesn't matter. Like your wife said, it's all in the same bucket. So yes, QuickBooks would be good for that. There are other tools. There's a tool called Expensify. And keep in mind that most of these tools do have a cost associated with it. If you're going to pay for something, I'd rather you do QuickBooks because it will also tie into your accounting system and help build that foundation for someone like me to come in and kind of get it set up and straightened up and all that. But if you're just getting started, Expensify is not that expensive. It's really super easy to use. It will later convert into QuickBooks if you do finally get to that place. You can import that data, so you don't have to retype it or have to redo all the legwork. So those are two tools that I would use. Like I said, but preferably QuickBooks.
Okay, now Expensify can be used, and let me correct myself on something. I did not mean to imply that people should commingle personal money with business money. That's a big no-no. So Expensify I could use for my own personal family spending, right?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
And you can also, depending on who you bank with, they have features inside of your bank accounts that will do the same thing for free.
Okay, I bet you Chase does.
Chase does, yes. Wells Fargo. Most of the big brands, Wells Fargo, Chase, even Bank of America, they have tools in there. You build up a few categories like your typical groceries or utilities, car payment, that kind of thing. And then once you spend, you don't have to touch it anymore. It'll auto categorize it to those various things. And you can even run reports out of your bank account that will show you where you spent money.
Me and my wife are gonna have to take you to dinner. We've been struggling for months about what system you use to keep up with our expenses. So we appreciate you. I'll thank you on her behalf as well.
If you need help figuring out how to set it up, let me know.
Okay, thank you.
Before I get to my last question, I just want to say the other thing that I really enjoyed about my interaction, my relationship with you is no judgment. So it's no different than the advice you just gave about keeping things separate. I did a great job keeping things separate. I just didn't do anything else. So I was excited that because I was so nervous, because when you get someone into your world and your finances, there's so much opportunity for judgment. There's so much opportunity to push back and say, well, why didn't you do it this way? And I want to thank you personally, which is why I'm comfortable referring you to people. I want to thank you personally for the lack of judgment. It's like you go in, it's like, hey, this is where you are. It was great, that conversation. This is where you was like, and you're like, oh, I don't think I'm doing this great. You're like, no, let me show you. And it's great to that you are able to get people where they are and get them to the next level. And they don't even realize it. I didn't realize I was moving up until I was like, wait, I feel so stressed. I feel less stressed. I had to do some stuff on my own, and I went to the document. I was able to get the data. And so I want to thank you personally, just because you've just been a huge impact, and I'm not in fear of my financials anymore. I feel much better. Just total transparency. So, you know that I'm all about passion. So I really want to know more about what is your passion and why do you do what you do? I mean, because there's so many careers, there's so many choices, and there's so many aspects of your business that show that there's a passion underneath. So I really want to understand a little bit more of that.
Ultimately, my passion is just helping people in whatever form that comes in. You know, like I said, I get people that just want advice. What kind of structure do I need for my business? What type of accounting system should I be on? You know, and like you mentioned, a lot of people are terrified to open up that level of their business, right? Because it is very, very personal, you know, because you learn a lot about people and their habits and what they're into and things like that. And they're terrified of that judgment because, yeah, I didn't keep track of anything. I have everything in a shoebox, you know, or I have it all on spreadsheets and I'm not even that good at Excel, you know. You know, they come in different forms, but the key in that is that when they come to me, it's because they finally realized they needed the help. Right. That's the important part, is realizing that you need it and seeking out that help from someone, whether it's me or the next guy down the block. It's important that you realized that you needed it and you went to go get it. And so, no, I don't judge, because I feel like no matter where you were, it doesn't have to impact where you're going. Right. It's about getting to the next level in your life, in your business. And that's all commingled. You know, it's all one big thing for you guys, you know, as business owner, for all of us, it's all one big thing. We're trying to get to the next level. We're trying to be successful. We're trying to get that huge building on Westheimer. You know, we want different things. It's different for everyone. Right. But you'll never get there if you don't ask for help, if you don't start somewhere, you know, so that's the important part. But for me, it's about helping those people get there. Right. If, you know, when I have conversations with people, I don't charge for that advice. And I've been told by quite a few people that I am out of my mind and that I should be charging, you know, for these hours long conversations that I have with people. But I don't do that because I feel like it's not my job to nickel and dime you. If I'm taking advantage of you in that way, I'm not helping you in any sort of fashion. I'm not helping you. Right. I've just perpetuated that fear. I've made it obvious why you're afraid to talk to people, because you're also paying an arm and a leg for somebody's time and you have no idea if they're an expert. You have no idea if they know what they're doing, if they're leading you down the wrong path. You're just arbitrarily throwing money at it. Right. That's not what I'm here for. I want to help you succeed. Your success is obviously my success. Right. If you start off at peanuts, you're barely making $5,000 a year on whatever it is you're doing for a business, and I can get you to $1 million. We both win. Right? Because if I'm doing my job, you're going to want to pay me more. Right? And at the very least, let's say you don't. Let's say you're a penny pincher. You don't want to pay me more. You're going to find a friend or someone that you come into contact with at some point that's going to say, hey, I'm looking for a person. And you're going to think of me because I helped you when nobody else would. I didn't charge you for all these crazy things. I didn't nickel and dime you throughout our contract. I didn't ignore you because you weren't paying as much as some of my other clients. I don't do that to people. For me, it's all about what I can do to help you, even if I get nothing out of it. I mean, money wise, anyway, I get stuff out of it because it makes me feel good. But, you know, if I get no monetary gain out of it, that doesn't matter to me. It's about helping people.
I think so often people convert because of those conversations. Because I think when we met, it was just a conversation because we were connecting. You didn't know what I needed at all. And when I got to the end of the conversation, I'm like, okay, I need you. And you were like, okay. Yeah. You didn't even know. So I think that may be the other piece, because I've already talked to 2 more people like this week. They're like, oh my gosh, you know, when I'm ready, I need Inez. I'm like, I think you're ready now. I think you don't delay.
Yeah.
So I think
don't delay at all. Yeah. Because I don't go into any conversation looking for the sell. I look to just see how I can help you, get you what you need, and then send you on your way. If that converts to a client, great. Obviously, we're in the business of making money. But if that doesn't happen, that's great too. As long as you're succeeding and doing what you want to do, and I've helped you some way, I've already gotten my reward.
Fantastic.
Blown away, completely blown away over here. I have one last question, and you know, from a business standpoint, when it comes to marketing, I feel like the world is your oyster, right? And being a digital marketing expert, I've seen small businesses set goals to get their pieces of the pie, you know, achieve their goals, so this way they can move forward at their pace rather than competing with others in the marketplace in their industries. So you had mentioned earlier that you have a goal of 100 clients across the U.S. I wanted to know, outside of word of mouth, that you're, currently growing your business using or have the blessings of having, what are your other plans to market your business in order to hit that goal?
Well, right now, since we've been in business, all of our business has been word of mouth, and we've been fortunate to have a good number of clients. A happy customer will refer you, right? So that's what we have been relying on up to this point. Obviously, our clients may know people in other states. We hope that if they do, they refer us. But we're not relying exclusively on that. We have started to have an uptick in social media presence, posting frequently on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all of those other various things. And for us, we've managed to find ways to do it creatively where it's not costing us an arm and a leg. For example, Vistaprint is our website host. And they have a social media piece that's tied into it. And you can create posts, put them on a schedule, and they will go out to all of your social sites absolutely free. So we've been doing that. I don't at this point, because we're not raking in cash like some other people. We don't do the advertising, mostly because it's cost prohibitive. And then two, like I said, we've been fortunate enough for all of our business to be word of mouth. So I don't see us doing any advertising. Not in the real sense, like we're paying for an ad someplace to pop up, that kind of thing. I don't like it. It's great for some people. It's just not for us. So I've been doing the social media thing, and that's gotten us quite a bit of a presence. Places like Nextdoor, Alignable, some of those sites are absolutely free. And yeah, you can't directly reach out to a lot of people when you have the free version of some of those softwares, but it does allow you to post like offers. Like when we do our promotion, like we have right now, that's good through the end of October, is half off your accounting setup fees or cleanup fees. We can post those things on places like Alignable and Nextdoor and some of those other sites, and then it doesn't cost us anything.
Okay, cool. Good to hear. Good to hear. Demetri?
Okay, I have a final comment with a final question, I guess. I just want to thank you. I don't know if you remember, I called you after hours one day. It was after 5, and we had a great conversation. I think we talked about an hour. That really made me feel good. I mean, you're right. You get right down homely with a person. I felt like I had known you for years. We talked about family and our businesses. And so I agree with you that being personal with people is the best way to go. And so with that being said, I'll ask this final question. What would you say is your greatest challenge as you move into the next years?
I probably would say our networking thing right now is our biggest challenge. I mean, prior to COVID, we were able to go out and meet face to face. We did a lot of networking events at our local chambers, and we're members of quite a few chambers: Pearland Chamber, Houston Chamber. There's a lot of others, and we were doing networking events, which put us in front of more people and allowed us to build those relationships that do flourish into them referring us to their friends and their colleagues and things. And we haven't been able to do that, obviously. And I'm not the greatest on video, I don't think. Like doing things like this, like it always makes me nervous. But like in those huge networking online events, it's so impersonal to me. You get a few minutes to kind of break off with somebody, or you exchange information with someone, and you could spend the next 3 days calling and emailing and getting no response. And to me, that just is kind of like, it's almost like cold calling, right? But like when you're in person, what are they going to do? Like, oh, excuse me, and walk off? No, it's rude. Nobody's going to do that, right? So they're stuck talking to you. And at the very least, when they get done, they may have gotten something out of there that they're like, oh, okay, I might need to talk to her, or I know somebody who might need to talk to her, right? So it gives us more opportunities to build those relationships. And to me, that's been extremely helpful in getting our business up and running and keeping it growing. But with the whole impact of COVID, we've kind of been shut down in that regard. So it's been different. So that's one of our biggest challenges right now, is getting in front of people.
Well, another way of getting in front of people is actually using social media the way that you're using it currently as a tool. So it's just really a pivot that you've already made and you're already finding success in. So I'm happy to hear that you're, still doing your thing and you're still getting in front of people, which is going to lead to growth and development of those relationships. I think that you have a false opinion. I think that you rocked this whole video thing because you did. But that's just my personal opinion. You take it with a grain of salt, but I think you rocked it. I'm happy to have met you. I don't have many bookkeeper and accountants in my network on LinkedIn, so I'm happy to make sure that we connect. So this way we could do the same. And I do recall going to a lot of the networking events around Houston, like the West Houston Chamber, a couple of others too around the city, and being able to, have that face to face, like you mentioned. And, I've gotten a few phone calls like months later, from people like, hey, I met you and, you talked about this and, you just go from there. So I guess it's my job to kind of wind it down, I guess. So great having you, Inez. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me
this morning and giving us your time. We know your time is money. Again, I'm Shon Tillman. I'm a digital marketing consultant with one of the best digital marketing agencies on the planet, which is True Digital Marketing. You can find us at www.truedigitalmktg.com. Again, you can follow me on LinkedIn. You can follow me on Twitter. I'm getting it popping over there. You're going to love it. A lot of free advice I'm giving out for people just like Inez who take advantage of using social media. So we'll be able to connect on that stuff. And passing it over to Demetri.
Thanks for thank you for joining us today, Inez. I'm Demetri Chambers. I'm a business attorney. You can find me on LinkedIn or at walkerchambers.com or at 832-925-8337. And it just, you blessed me today. I thank you. Katrina?
Thank you.
Inez, you are awesome. You did amazing. Exactly. I did everything that Shon and Demetri said. I am Katrina Keys, and I am an HR consultant, and I run professional networking groups in IA 5.0. If you want more information about me, you can go to katrinakeys.com, or you can find me on LinkedIn, Katrina with a K, Keys, Keys. Inez?
I'm Inez. Thank you guys so much for having me. You guys have been a pleasure. You can find me on LinkedIn at Accounts 101. You can also visit our website at www.accounts101.org. And our phone number is 832-392-6429.